I hate this little light. I hate this little light because it proves that sometimes big problems can be solved by something little. RGB, bicolor, barn doors, spotlight mount, 100 watts. Frankly, I hate this little light because it proved me wrong. Say hello to the Zhiyun Molus X100 RGB Pro. You're always going to hear that you need a big light source to be able to get super soft light, and that part's true. But the problem is that when you hear that, you automatically assume that you need a huge light with a lot of output, but any surface can become a softbox if you're just creative enough.
You can bounce it off a wall, the ceiling, or anything reflective. For example, for all those shots, I just used the spotlight mount and I bounced it off walls or the ceiling to get a larger source. And sometimes a little softbox is enough to do the job. I usually never show the behind the scenes because I'm a freaking mess. I put the light right here just to motivate it off this lamp. And then I just set up a slider on top of a bunch of boxes to push the camera straight through to get that push in. So we get this perspective as if we're an ant just crawling through to the middle of the framing. Like in the intro shots of this video, I backlit the back of the TV using this light just to add a little more pop. But don't let that fool you into thinking that soft light is the only way to make something look interesting. Sure, soft light is super flattering, but I feel like there's this huge misconception that hard light isn't any good. But hard light could quickly become one of your favorite types of lighting because you could quickly create interest inside of your videos. And quite frankly, it'll turn a boring scene into something a little more dynamic. With the spotlight mount, you could create visual interest when you're showing things, or with the barn doors, you could create slashes of light, or simply just shape it so it fits the scene better. But if you want to be a little bit more out of the box, you could just use some color. Where most videos are cemented in naturalism, color can quickly pull you from the roots of reality. Using color can create a pattern interruption to everything you see nowadays. This light makes it super easy because it's full RGB, and you can select any color and make different color combinations, like the classic teal and orange, or my recent favorite, red and blue. But that's enough playing around with the light. Now let's get into the nerdy stuff.
Alright, now let's get the boring stuff out of the way. This might be the most equipped little light that I've ever used right out of the gate, because when you open this box, you get the soft box, a Bowens mount adapter, and the main box for the actual light. And man, did this blow my expectations out of the water. This light is in collaboration with Mackey, and you can tell right out of the gate because of the attention to detail. It comes in this brown carrying case with the light, the battery grip, a mini reflector lens, the barn doors, and a power adapter with its cables, and an organizer bag. Right out of the gate, you can tell you have a full kit that you could travel with, make content with, or even use it for professional work. This sucker is bicolor, full RGB, and it offers 100 watts of light, which is enough for the majority of scenes that you're going to encounter. But when you use the little light reflector that it brings, the power output is way higher. That's not bad for a light that literally weighs 383 grams. And to put it into perspective, a can of Coke weighs around that. And the icing on the cake is being able to use this light with the ZY Vega app, which is awesome because you could fully control it remotely, put your gels, your effects, everything through there, and it's awesome. I've said it before and I'll say it again, Zhiyun always gets style points for their products because they always look fantastic. So I love the green and brown accents that comes on this, so Cam and Zhiyun, good choices. Alright, I've only been talking positively about this light, and now it's time to cover the cons. Listen, I reviewed the CX100 and I really wasn't a fan of that light. It felt like you had to work harder to get anything done, the buttons were super plasticky and clicky, and I simply just wasn't a fan, but this light feels like they got all the bad parts, fixed them up, and made this extremely well. So the only con that I would have said that it carried over from that light is just the battery life. And honestly, that's just me reaching for a con because everything on this light is pretty spot on. This light only lasts around 30 minutes on full power, but come on, for 100 watts for a 383 gram light, that's pretty good. And you also have the AC adapter, so if you need light for a long period of time, just connect that sucker, you know? So yeah, if you're a content creator, a filmmaker, and you need that little extra bit of light when you travel or whatever, this is the way to go.